Hello friends, I'm here with my studio assistant. This is Luna. And for today's project we're going to do something fun, which it is, we're going to be painting a popsicle. Here where I am, we are in the middle of summer, so it feels like something fun to do. So without further ado, let's get started. Hello again. It is hot here where I am. I know there's some parts of the world, depending of where you are seeing me from, it's winter, but here we are in the heat of summer. So I thought that today we can do a good popsicle. Just feels refreshing just to paint it. For the colors, I'm gonna have Daniel Smith Rodonite Genuine. You could use, I just have these two, but you could use a permanent rose and it will be exactly the same. So up to you. And then, let me put this back in. We also gonna have, so the popsicle has to have light and dark colors. For our medium, we will have the Magenta by SCHMINCKE. And I've been having this one for a long time, so hopefully it's not too dry. But even if it looks a little dry, watercolor paint can be reactivated easily. Oops. There it is. Okay, put it back in. And in case we need a little bit of to darken in a few areas, I have my Neutraltint also by SCHMINCKE. This is a color that can darken others without changing it too much, but it's a pretty color by itself too. So it leans a little bit onto the purple, so that's why it's a good one. I mean, you could also use, if you don't have this color, you could also use a Payne's Gray or an indigo to darken, to do the darkest dark. But I have this one, so this is the one that I'm using. All right, let's start. Well, let me show you what each color is while I'm activating them. So this is my lightest one, the Rodonite, and like I said, it can be kind of like so replaced by a permanent rose. Our magentas, let's just keep it over here, will be the medium to dark. Depends on the intensity of the water that we give it. So, and let me show you how the Neutraltint color looks like. So it is a dark, but it leans a little bit on the purple. So this with this can give us nice darks. And the same family. Okay, now this seems, and in a way it is a simple exercise. The only thing to keep in mind for here is the amount of water as it's drying, but we can easily stop and dry it before we go to the second layer. So I'm gonna start with a big brush and make sure that my brush is clean, that I don't have any colors on it. No surprises. And now we're gonna wet. We're gonna be working wet. Right now I'm just gonna be painting the popsicle, and I'm not gonna do nothing with this one yet. So I'm wetting this, but not that. Okay, so this is the Rodonite, but I'm gonna call it permanent rose, so all of you guys know it's otherwise a complicated name for me to say. And we're gonna go from darker to lighter. So since I want the part in the top to be lighter, I start at the bottom with this color. And because I'm working wet on wet, you see how nicely my colors are spreading. And let's just go like it's melting, a little bit of melt here, and we bring the color into it as well. Lovely, lovely color. And let me bring it in. And I've been recharging, but as I go up, I don't want to. So I'm gonna start bringing I can do it one or two ways. I can bring it light pressure, like what we did in the gradients. Or another way that I can do it is rinse my brush and then just bring this color, pushing it up. Either way, we want to have like actually we're making a gradient here, if you look at it from light to dark. Since watercolor dries lighter, this will be a lovely one, but watercolor lies lighter. The other thing to keep in mind is that we're going to be bringing a lot darker colors here. So these darker colors will make this one, by comparison, look even lighter. So because of that, and since I'm still pretty wet right here, I'm bringing a little bit more color, because color is relative to the color that is next to it. All right, bring it this a little bit, spread. And what I'm gonna be doing is dry this with the hair dryer so that we can, okay, so it's dry. And now what I'm gonna do is we're gonna start building the color. We're gonna switch into our magenta, and I'm gonna wet again. Every time that I wet, I wanna use a softer brush so that I don't have, it doesn't remove the color that is already at the bottom. So I'm gonna wet only half, the part where my color, I wanted to keep it lighter. And on the other one, I don't want it wet, because I want to start building some hard edges. And if I wet everything, I will have no hard edges. So I'm starting with my magenta, and then I want to have some of the color that I put at the bottom to show by painting around it. And let's do the corner here. Good. Now let's bring a little bit here, and then I don't want to have a hard edge right there, so now I'm bringing it already to where it's wet. I do want to have a hard edge here, but it's melting, so let's just have a little bit of that here as well. Straight and straight. Let's just do like if it is a square. This is only the magenta that I'm using at the moment, and we're going to concentrate on the outside, and then we will come into the inside. So let's go like that, because this is wet, but it's also drying. So let's go. Let's bring this one in the middle. And this is of all this painting, this is the tricky part, if you will. So now I'm gonna have this around that area. We have them all about the same. And now with the water, I'm bringing water. And I'm aiming to get some dark, but still a little bit of the light color maintaining it there. And now we can move on to this inside. I'm gonna soften that one, leave a little area with the light color showing. I had to do this one too. I don't have a bead, but I want to have a little soft and bringing it in here. And now I come with my magenta and I'm leaving a little bit of that. I'm bringing it in. See how, because this color is darker, this one reads a lot lighter than when we first put it in. Yeah, So that's why you had to think about those things at the very beginning. And that's why we went a little bit darker. Okay, so let's even this up a little. No, that still is wet. Maybe go around. And okay, this is too sharp, so with my, I'm taking all the water and then just it's dumb, so I just come in over here, soften it up, bring in the color, and let's just do a little bit of the same thing here. Soften it up, take this a little bit out. Okay, now we do the opposite thing. I'm going with a little bit of the darker color, not a whole lot, and just not a lot of water, and the tip of my brush, and continue to do the marks of this popsicle right there. Mark a little bit of the corner so that it shows that it's brown, and maybe here too. All right, I lost a lot of my water, okay? So now I cannot go back in. This is too sharp for my taste, so since it's a small area, I just taking most of my water out. And then I'm gonna go here and just try to soften this up. Soften it up a little bit. Okay. All right, our second layer is dry. It's actually really, really hot. All right, so I find that as I was drying it, I saw that, so look, these two should be even. And as you can see, this light color is way too down. I can correct that because I can always go with darker color and cover it up. But that means that I needed to get a little bit of the light at the same place. So how do I do that? I have this small brush. It's not an oil brush, but it's a little bit more stiff than a watercolor brush. It's by Silver, it's the Bristle Bright. And I'm gonna lift a little bit of my color, try to go like straight. Gonna lift a little bit of the color, like this. Take the color on my paper, rinse, and I'm gonna do a little bit of the same right here. If I go, I move it, but then when I go with the paper, I lift it. And once again, this one got a little too thin, so I'm bringing here. So this is how we can correct a mistake. All right, so now I need to make sure that is dry. I'm gonna be using some of my French ultramarine that I have here, not a whole lot, and my burnt sienna, and we're gonna start, get out of there, doing a little bit with this. I don't like to have a whole thing that is completely white. So for that, actually I'm gonna switch to a smaller brush. I'm gonna be using my number 2. Let's get the burnt sienna, have my bigger brush ready, get some of that color over here. I mean, a little bit of white, a little bit of water right here. This is dry and the bottom is dry. So look, burnt sienna. Now it's touching the part where it's wet. Now I bring it here because I don't want to keep painting it. A little bit of the one with the more French ultramarine. A little bit of the French ultra right here on the top. And now just with the water, I bring it down. And now we have this, blend, blend, blend. I'm gonna bring on top of the French ultramarine a little bit of the magenta so that it turns a little purplish and it's connected. with that. Good blend. A little bit of the brown to show, because you know the tips of the popsicles are made out of wood. For the most part, sometimes they're plastic, but for the most part they got wood. But some of those colors are reflecting here. All right, while this dries, we're gonna switch to my number 8. And now we're gonna treat these two in the middle like individuals, and once it's dry, then we will come back and do the outside, because if not, we get all at the same time, it's gonna dry and it's gonna give us runs. So I'm making a mix. This is gonna be the darkest part. I'm gonna get my magenta right here. Oops, let me show you. Not a whole lot of water, and then Neutraltint. Gonna bring that over here so that this color gets darker, but it maintains. Oops, now I got too much Neutraltint. Let's get a little bit more of the magenta. It maintains the color of the magenta. It just darkens it. I love the Neutraltint because of that reason, and especially, but I use it as by itself as well, like a color by itself. Okay, and then with this other brush, which is gonna be my number 6, I'm gonna have in my brush magenta only. All right, so let's get to it. Let's start with the magenta right here. Goes around, and I keep it in. Rinse, go with water, and start spreading from. Look what's happening. If I bring my color, if I bring water over here, touch the color, and I go up, I bring in my color up, you see, and having a hard edge. How do I stop that from happening? By going on the opposite direction with water too, and I touch, but I don't bring the color, see? But I got rid of that edge. I want a little bit, but I don't want it that hard. So here, let's get here. Bring a little bit of that I have in my tip, very lightly, and then just water. Okay, while this is dry, I'm coming with the mix that I did with the magenta and the Neutraltint. I bring it here. It still is wet, so it should spray. There you go. And let's get it down. Down. All right, bring a little bit of this here, magenta alone, and we're gonna blend. Instead of blending with only water, we blend with the magenta so that these two colors blend more. Okay, let's just bring it more straight. Okay, I was giving that some depth. Very nice. Let's get it a little bit more square, and now I go up. I have a lot of paint in my tip, so now I just go with water, and over here just impressions. Nice. I can get a little bit of the thicker magenta. A stronger paint. And a little bit of the mix of the magenta and my Neutraltint. These parts will be the darker part of the painting, actually, here at the bottom. Okay, now we let this dry by itself, and while it dries, we're going to move on to do basically the same thing on this other one. So I have the Neutraltint and magenta mix right there. Let's get some more of the magenta. More water, more Neutraltint, more Neutraltint. Okay, it's pretty dark. Now, in this other brush, let me get magenta, and we're gonna repeat what we did here. Remember, we tried, this was too low, so that was the wrong one. So I'm gonna mark myself where I need to go first by going with the magenta. Okay, and over here. All right, so this is how okay, our popsicle is looking good. Now let's keep going with the outside of the popsicle. Same technique, one with color, the lighter color, in this case the magenta, and then the other one I'm gonna have a brush with the mix of magenta and Neutraltint. Okay, and once again I'm gonna start with the lighter color, the magenta color. Let's get a little bit more magenta here. Let's start with the magenta, and we're gonna get some of this. We want it like that, but we don't want it completely even. So that's why I'm getting a little bit inside. This is gonna be a little tricky, so because we have a lot of things to go through. So how am I gonna handle this? I'm gonna leave myself, I can either do two things. I can come over here and leave myself a bit, but I have to worry about this drying and this drying. It is always easier if I just go right here, go with a little bit of moist, break that hard edge, put this on hold because I'm gonna have to go darker. It's okay if I go on hold like here and continue to work my way over here. Since I have the water, I'm gonna break this a little with water, and bring it a little bit on this edge. I'm gonna, same concept, we get with the water, we pick the color over here. I don't wanna keep going up, so I rinse and I bring the water on the opposite direction. So I got rid of that. It's okay to have a few of these strikes, but if you want it a little bit thinner, just go with the clean water on the opposite direction. All right, while this is, I forgot where I have the darkers. This is the darkers. While this is wet, let's bring it on this edge too. It's kind of, we want this to be a little less even because it's melting, so it's losing the shape. So for it to look like credible. Now I'm going here with my dark. This will be the one that I have the two colors on it, magenta and Neutraltint. Go around, bring some of that one over here, and then I start bringing it. This paint right now is thick, it's buttery, so it's not spreading as much. Now I go with this and I blend a little bit into the darker color. Okay, and this one, as before, oops, got a lot of color out there. I'm gonna bet with water some of that blend. I got my thicker paint out here, and I'm gonna bring it around. Water. All right, I'm picking this up, and I'm bringing my dark color. Now what I'm gonna do here is this very, very dark. I'm gonna bring it only around here. Rinse. I'm wetting this part because I'm not gonna go a lot higher than that. I'm bringing my magenta. I'm gonna bring some of the magenta here. Be careful, I have a lot of water. I don't have a lot of water there. If I don't want to blossom, I bring the water onto this side, leaving me a bit out there. And I can go now with the two color. Bring this a little bit on a corner. The water is pushing this color a little bit, so let's just bring some of the color here. Okay. I need more color. So I don't know if you can see it. I'm bringing the magenta with the neutral tint, and I'm bringing some of the color here. I'm gonna go a little bit higher, a little bit higher. Let's start, make sure that I'm even. Maybe making that a little bit smaller. I think that I'm too high. I think that's better. Okay, so I'm bringing this, but I need a little bit more transition, such as with my magenta. I'm coming here and damp brush, bringing this a little bit higher. I have a little bit of color here, so let's just put a couple stripes here. And now I just go with water and soften some of those hard edges. A little bit is good, but we're keeping this light. Magenta, little. And now we're bringing it up a little bit with just water. Looking good. Okay, once more we bring the two color, and once more we soften the corner. There you go. This corner over here, we're gonna bring it up, but I don't want to go too high with the dark color. Let's just go all around. This is still wet. Let's be neat, and bring a little back to the transition, so it means back to getting magenta. I'm going to bring the magenta a little bit higher this time, maybe around here. Blend these two with the magenta, a little bit of that one here, and now only water, and we bring this color there. Blend, and the opposite direction with water, soften that edge. I want a little bit of this color just to mark a little bit of there in the corner. And now with just water. Okay, let's get the original that we call permanent rose, the lighter color. And let's just soften some of these. Just a little bit. Oops, come on. Get out of there. Okay. Let's soften some of these a little bit with a lighter color. And maybe a little bit here too. It's a little too sharp. It's okay to have them out there. A little. Okay, that looks more natural. Water, water, water. All right, I think that our popsicle is basically done. If we want to get a little bit of the values, I will do only water, a little bit of French Ultra. Let's just mark a little bit of this with the blue. And now with only water. And these are tiny details, but these tiny details sometimes pop, make things pop. You don't need to put them unless you want to. let's just do a little bit of the roundness here of the popsicle. But I like to put them on. I think they're fun. And let's revise this a little bit of dark over here too. Let's get in. Oh, very dark here. And let's go a little bit. Oh, need to use a thinner brush. And I just go, oops, I was having my dark color in the brush. Let's clean it up a little bit, like that. And let's do it again with the, thinner brush. So bring the color, the darker color, bring it all down. And around. And now just water and have a little transition. And I needed a little bit of water there. So our popsicle is done. Let's just do just one last thing to do, which will be to bring these a little bit darker. I have a little bit of purple here, so let's just add a little bit of that one. My burnt sienna is here. Let's get that one too, because it reads like wood. Bring some, and now just with water. There it is. Nice, refreshing summer popsicle. I hope you enjoy it. I hope that you have fun painting this, if you paint alone or if you're planning to do it. If you have different colors that you prefer or different flavors of popsicles that you will like, just change the colors. And just let me know in the comments how it turned out. I will see you in my next video.